models missing their spots. You got the lighting's off, the timing's off. This is, they're doing X, Y, Z. So, I'll relay messages to him like, hey, this needs to get fixed.
How's it going? I'm your host, Enrique, and you're watching another episode of our podcast. Today we have a really special guest, DoneByDesign, an amazing duo, and one that has been together for how many years, would you guys say?
One, right? Officially? Yeah, I am the founder, but Carlos and I partnered up about a year ago.
Oh, very nice. Yes. Okay, cool. Would you like to introduce yourselves, what you guys do, and how long have you guys been doing it?
Go ahead, Carlito, you can start off.
Well, like he said, I'm not the founder. I just kind of jumped in on the bandwagon. So my name's Carlos Medina. I've been in photography now for over 25 years, and my official title is the art director. So I handle the front end of most fashion shows. The cameras, and we live stream, getting the lighting ready, and my man over here handles the back end, as they say.
And explain what the back end is.
Well, I mean, usually when we're talking about fashion shows, right? Because there's other things that we do too. DoneByDesign does photography, videography, web development, brand development. But when it comes to fashion shows, I'm the guy backstage who starts off with the casting calls and setting up with the makeup artist, the hairstylist, and running the back show of the fashion shows.
So you're the producer, essentially.
Yes, backstage producer, director.
Producer.
Yeah.
Very nice. So to go a little bit more into you personally, not just DoneByDesign, you go on Instagram by Ray DoneByDesign. And you are also a military man. You're a dad. You have 2 kids.
I do.
And you have DoneByDesign. You do so much. Tell me about your journey from being military, from being dad to being backstage producer. What was that journey like, and where do you see yourself further in that journey?
That's a really, really good question, right? And I say that because I don't know where I want to end.
Oh, really?
I don't. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the journey, right? So I went from high school, went to college, and then 9/11 happened. And for those youngins out there, that's September 11th for, the beginning of the war. And so I ended up joining the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps for about 4 years, active duty. Then I went to the Air Force. Moved in for the Air Force. And so my military time altogether was about 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And then once I got out of the Marine Corps, moved back to Chicago, I had the opportunity to become a police officer, and I kind of turned that down and picked up my camera once again that I did have while I was in high school and continued to shoot and moved into where I am now with DoneByDesign.
Nice. Did you take any pictures while in the military?
I did.
Nice.
I mean,
no, not nice.
I have some gruesome photos, man. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
I did while I was out there. I did take a lot of photos. I met other photographers, and we shared some photos, and so we have a big backup thing. Mm-hmm. So some of the photos that I do have, I can't tell a story of because I don't know what they are, and some of the ones that I do have are just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But some of them are dope though. Some of them are like of the group and the crew that all of my fellow Marines. Yeah. But after that, I just wanted to continue shooting. So I wanted to stay in that industry and just try to figure out how and where I fit.
Right.
That's just like anybody. Anybody just wants to know where they fit and where they're comfortable at.
Right. Fun fact though. Before I went to college, I actually went to Joliet Junior College. I told my parents that I wanted to join the military, and I was considering the Marines. And it didn't really make sense because I thought, if I do join, I still want to do photography in a way and tell the stories of the other side or, the brothers and sisters that I'm fighting along with. You didn't have a specific agenda when you were out there. You were just taking pictures just to take pictures.
I got a camera sent to me and just continued shooting.
Oh, very nice. And now you're a badass producer running the show backstage for Runways.
Yeah.
Where do you see that in, say, 3-5 years' time? Or where do you see yourself in that industry?
In the industry itself, the tough part about it is I would like to continue DoneByDesign, have DoneByDesign grow because there are connections that I have in New York, Miami, California, even Texas that I would like to, for us to expand.
Absolutely.
I do have plans to maybe move to Texas, and probably within those 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So where I would be there.
Right.
For those that don't know, I'm also in the cannabis industry.
Correct.
So, our plans are as well with the 1937 group is to expand and go nationwide. So I know one of our plans is to be all over the United States, have representation everywhere. So that's one of the things I want to do as well. So where exactly I'll be in the 5 years, I don't know. Where I would like to be, I mean, I would love DoneByDesign to be global. I would like us to be producing, directing, and having media all over France and Paris and Milan and
Right.
that's the goal. I want to be everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Before I move on to Carlos to touch on that, we worked together on numerous shows, but never really interacted. I knew of you guys. I don't know if you guys knew of me. And one time that I really did get to speak to you guys was at Lucid Runway show in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until we were attending New York Fashion Week separately, and I just happened to go to the same show you guys were at. And then that's when I told Carlos, I was like, yo, you know my parents, my dad. And then he said, no, we don't. And then he's like, who's your dad? And I said, Francisco. And he said, oh, shit, that's your dad? And that's sort of how this relationship continued, which was pretty awesome. But actually, I want to hear a little bit more from you now, Carlos. Tell me how this love story happened, this DoneByDesign.
Carlos, did that scare you? Were you like, oh my God, this is my son? Am I your dad?
Right. That was probably the worst way to start off a conversation, right?
Are you my daddy?
No, man, he made me feel old as hell. Like, that was the first time I felt old because I'm like, damn, I'm hanging out with his dad. He goes, "This is my dad." No, but actually, the way it started for me, I was actually working at AT&T in corporate America, and I started going to these networking events, Latino networking events, just to kind of see what was out there. I didn't want to do the corporate thing anymore. I was really interested in getting into the cannabis industry, and then I ended up meeting Jason. Shout out to Jason.
What up, Jason?
And
Jason Garcia,
Esquire.
Yes, Esquire.
Oh, Esquire.
Lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dope dude.
Yeah. And he got me he got me linked up with Ray, right? He's like, oh, I gotta introduce you to the guy. And I would later come to find out that Ray, he's a little bit of a douche when you first meet him, He goes out there and he's like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know what there is in the cannabis industry. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to
but is that a douche thing to say? No.
Yes and no. Yes,
well,
but I'll touch on that.
It was the way he said it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because you just meet this guy.
It's
and
not
he's
what
just
you
like,
say, it's how you say it.
He's like, so what do you want to do? Like, he's like, I'm doing a favor. And I'm like, you know what? Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing with you.
Forget it.
Right.
No, so
I'm going home and taking my ball.
So you fast forward a little bit, and I was at the first meeting for UCIA, which is a cannabis organization trying to move legislation more or trying to put Latinos give them a place in the table when it comes to legislation.
Yeah.
So we were both there. We were one of the founding members, but I was taking photographs, and then him and I kind of started talking about what I was doing because we were essentially going to be doing the same thing. Okay. So once we started talking a little bit, and I found out he wasn't that much of a douche. I'm like, I kind of like this guy. So little by little, it just we started working on projects together, and things just kind of started flourishing. He asked me if I can handle the front end of a show for Ruby and Sapphire, because he was running them on his own.
Oh wow! Okay.
So he's like, bro. He goes, well, if someone tells me that this light's not working, I'm in back, and I'm trying to come in front, and trying to get photographers to come in, and it's a madhouse. So
yeah,
I needed a director of media, man.
Absolutely. No, yeah. I think one thing's for sure, and one of the premises, and we'll touch on this later in the show, is community. It's about who you work with, and making it a team effort, because think of movie sets, think of songs, it's not just one person, it's a group of people, it's a team, right? But before I toss the question off to you, what is the driving force for you, Carlos? Is it someone in particular, your kids, family? Is it monetary, or is it a form of self-expression when it comes to photography and your art? Yeah.
So it's funny thing is that one of the reasons that I ended up making the transition was my son asked me right when the Cubs were launching the Marquee Network.
Oh, okay.
So this was 2019 or so. He asked me, he goes, why can't you be a photographer or a cameraman for the Cubs? You know, because I'm always telling the boys, that I have 2 boys, right? So I'm always letting them know, like, you know what, don't worry about the money. Do what you want to do. You know, the money will come. You know, if you become good at it. Right. You know? So that kind of mindset. And he's like, why aren't you a photographer? How come you're not in video? Or, you know, and I was working at AT&T and I hated my job, you know?
Kids are really good at turning that shit around at you, man.
Yeah, you know, he was absolutely right. So, you know, I quit my job. I went back to school. I went back to the...
You're like, I quit!
Yeah. I didn't have a reason not, like...
I didn't take you for a quitter.
That's a good point. I transitioned.
I love that. There you go. Yes,
There we go.
this transition.
There we go.
You know, so I went from having a nice corporate job and I decided that I wanted to be a starving artist. And
Don't I know? I can relate. I can relate. Yeah, absolutely.
you know, so you know, I went to Illinois Media School and I went, you know, head first, right? So I started building relationships. I started building a clientele. You know, starting to because in this industry you get paid based off projects, right? It's not like you're going to a 9 to 5. It's like, hey, we got this project.
Right.
However long it takes, that's how much you're gonna make, right? So. Getting accustomed to that, right? Like I didn't know how much to charge. You know, you're doing photo shoots where you're coming out losing, you're paying other people or whatever. So I kind of learned some of that in going back to school. The nice thing about our partnership is that he handles a lot of the financial stuff. So I don't. Yeah. I was like, just don't screw me, man.
Just don't screw me. Now the question is tossed off to you. What are some of your motivating factors? What's the driving force behind what you do? Is it monetary? Is it family? Or is it truly a form of expression and artistry for you?
You know, the dope part about that, right? Like, is it monetary? And the answer to that is yes. And it's not because I want the monies. It's because I want the new camera, or I want the new light, or I want the new micro. You know what I mean? Like, you just want all the new gear.
Right.
You know, and that's the dope thing about the industry, about the community, is like you meet somebody with the camera, that new updated camera, or the light, or the stabilizer. You're just like, bro, that's so dope. You know? Yeah. And then you're like, it's fun showing it off, dude. Right. It's like, check it out, look what it could do. You know, and you know, so like that's the expensive part about this industry.
Oh yeah.
But it's fun.
Absolutely.
You know, I actually really do enjoy helping to create and have things come to life for others, because that's what we're doing.
Right.
We're not making this come to life for ourselves. We're working with designers and makeup artists and hairstylists and, you know, whoever needs their product shot. You know, I'm not shooting it so that I have fun shooting the product. You know, it's fun getting their creation mixed with our creation to see what we can come up with and make it look fire.
Right.
You know, so
absolutely.
That's what's dope about it.
Very nice. Yeah. So now this one I'm tossing off to both of you, whoever gets it first. What are some misconceptions? Because I'm part of this small community. As runway photographers, videographers, there's a small community. We tend to see the same people at each runway show. Right. What are some misconceptions that creatives have, or just general public have, about runway shows or producing imagery or videos for a runway show? And what advice would you have for those who are trying to get into it?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions, I think, is people think that it's a really glamorous life. You know, but I guess we're doing a good job, right? Because we're the one putting it up and we're dressing it up and editing and making it look nice. But when you're actually there, it's a lot going on. It's, you know, short of saying a shit show, you know, but normally
to say the least.
Yeah, I mean to just, you know, piggyback off that, it's like we're obviously doing something right, because I get, and I'm sure you do too, is where, oh, you're lucky. You shoot beautiful models. You're lucky. It's like, I'm not just standing there with them. Like, it's, you're working on lighting, you're working on makeup, you have the hairstylists, you know, you have the designers doing their work. Like, it's everyone within the industry, within the community, trying to make this look dope.
Yeah.
You know, because you can have a designer come up with something awesome, and then the model's garbage, or the makeup's garbage, or the hair's messed up.
Yeah.
or we're all doing a great job and the sun doesn't want to come out that day that we planned and it's raining. You know, and now you have to change your location. Like it's like I'm really good with the chaos. I'm very calm. I'm good. I'm like, let's figure this out. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. But my problem is I'm not really good at the whole please and thank you while we're working. Like I have that military aspect, like just do this shit. And then when we're done, then I'm going to say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Once the job is done.
Once the job is done, when we're doing, but like, hey, I need you to do this. You do this. You move here. You can do that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once it's done, it's like, oh my God, thank you guys. You guys did a great job.
No, and that's definitely what was a misconception for me getting in. My first time, I believe, was in 21 for Chicago Fashion Week, Tony's at the Water Tower place, and nothing what I had anticipated. I, like you, thought it was glamorous, and man, is it chaos, especially when there's not a good producer backstage, especially when there's no like actual crew to photograph or film it. You know, there is no dedicated team for that specific show, right? And then going to New York, it's even worse. I remember seeing you backstage for that one show. My goodness, just arms flying every time a model went out. You're just like, you're like, what's going on?
What's
you know?
going on? Yeah.
So no, and it's funny because I likewise thrive under that chaos, or I at least enjoy it, because I feel like the more I try to control things, the more frustrated and more upset I get. But when I realize I'm not in control and I just let things be, I get to be in the moment and I get to digest and really be there, you know, which I really like. But you guys didn't answer. For people who are trying to get in our industry, what is some advice that you would give them?
I can tell you right now, for like Carlos' standpoint, we're, and I'll let him like get more into detail about it. But there was a time when we do have control of the chaos. He's director of media. So like a lot of photographers that have like that we bring in for the show would be like, hey, can I get here? Can I set up here? Like everyone has that mutual respect for one another.
Right.
There are times when there is nobody there and everyone's fighting for elbow space.
Absolutely.
I know you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. The pit is ruthless. Especially when you have veterans who have been doing this for years and they feel deserving, and rightfully so, of that spot in the middle, because they've been in this industry for much longer, as opposed to a rookie who just started maybe last year trying to get in the center. No, you got to earn that spot, right? But awesome. I'm really glad this segment is called Deep Dive, where we go in depth with our guests, what they do, who they are. And I'm glad you guys were able to speak on that. But we're going to jump into our next segment called Spray and Pray. For those of you who don't know, is a term that creatives use, typically photographers or videographers, where you just hold the shutter and you're spraying a bunch of photos, praying that you get something. So essentially that's what I'm going to be doing with you guys. I'm going to be spraying a bunch of questions at you guys.
Let's go.
And
Bring it.
The objective is you guys have 3 minutes to edit a photo. So we're going to take turns.
Oh.
You're going to choose 3 photos, and the 3 photos are these. But you have... It's in post-production.
Okay,
it's in post-production.
Because I hated that second photo.
So you have 2 options.
Okay.
The only limit is your creativity.
Okay.
You have Photoshop or Lightroom Classic, whichever you want. Photoshop obviously has generative AI, which is a little bit more fancy, more fun, more creative, right? Lightroom Classic is just going to be your basic editing, right? So who wants to go first?
I'll let Ray go first.
Let me go first?
Yeah.
All right.
Do your thing.
Ray, you're going to have a model shoot that I had. And if you just sift through those really quickly, just those 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and start the 3-minute timer when you've decided which of the 3. Just choose between the 3 tabs. So he has a model, a runway. I chose a runway photo because we all do runways. I did a portrait session that I did on the beach with a model. Shout out to September. And then the last one is a street photo.
You're going to get me on this because I don't know how to use PC that well. So
damn.
I'm just telling you that right now.
Okay,
I don't even know
all
where my
right,
functions are.
Like, dude, is that a Dell?
All right, here we go. Once you pick the photo, let me know, and I'll count you down.
All right, I got it.
You got the photo?
Yeah.
You want to tell the people which photo you chose, or you want
I
to give
chose
them
the first photo of just with the blurry background and the model straight.
September.
Looks like a beach shot, right?
Yeah. So that was in Oak Street Beach. September. Shout out September. But all right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, and we are off. So while you're editing, like I said, I'm going to be spraying a bunch of questions, and while you are editing, you have to answer. First question. Reading or audiobooks?
This is crazy. Reading or audiobooks? Reading, absolutely, 100%.
Okay. Music or podcasts?
Ooh. Older music, newer podcasts.
Okay, that's a good question. Movies or series? Come on, you got to keep editing, man.
I know.
Keep editing,
Those are
man.
really good. I can't see with this mic. What's that question again?
Movies or series?
Movies or series? Oh, man. Probably movies at a movie theater, series at home.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, you have to choose one.
Series right now.
Series. Okay. All right. Headphones or earbuds?
Headphones.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Laptop or tablet?
This is so hard to do both, bro. Laptop or tablet? Probably laptop.
All right. PC or Mac?
Mac.
Less than 2 minutes on the clock.
Jesus Christ, I've done nothing.
Urban or suburban?
Suburban.
Suburban.
Now that I'm old. Yeah.
Sony or Canon?
Sony.
Sony, okay. Nikon or Fuji?
Nikon.
Okay. Flash or continuous?
Ooh.
I'm a flash guy.
You're a flash guy? Minute and 15 seconds.
I've done nothing, man. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Gimbal or handheld?
Gimbal.
Gimbal, okay. Capture One or Lightroom?
Wow, your Gaussian blur was really high.
I'll repeat the question one more
Yes,
time.
please.
Capture One or Lightroom?
Capture One or Lightroom? Lightroom.
Lightroom, okay. Premiere Pro or DaVinci?
I'm an Adobe guy, so Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro, okay, cool. A lot of people say DaVinci. TikTok or Instagram?
I don't know how to use DaVinci yet, man.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
TikTok or
Instagram.
Instagram, that's really hard because I can sit anywhere and watch TikTok, but I like to upload on Instagram.
On Instagram?
So, TikTok for the dances.
20 seconds.
Oh, I've done nothing. Oh my God.
Twitter or Reddit?
Neither, actually. Reddit probably more than Twitter.
Reddit,
I'm,
okay.
I'm never on any of them.
Film or digital?
Digital. I don't know how to do anything with film.
No? Oh, that breaks my heart. Studio or on location? Careful with this answer.
Studio or on location? Probably studio. I've done nothing, bro.
No.
No, I was trying to change the sky with me, and I can't remember.
All right, no worries.
where the
I'll
new
give you
thing
a
is.
couple. I'll give you a couple more seconds. I'm going to finish out this list.
All right.
I'll let you do these last adjustments. You ready to continue?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Short form or long form content?
Long form.
Long form content. Okay.
I'm a reader, so I like the content. I'm a big content guy.
Okay, cool. Pre-production or post-production?
Pre.
Pre?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
100%.
It's where all the brainstorming happens, you know.
Yeah.
And last but not least, photo or video?
Right now, video.
What? Alrighty, and that concludes
No, hold
Spray
on. I haven't
and
put the
Pray.
sky I'm looking for.
You gotta put the pencil down. The clock stopped.
I've done nothing,
No?
bro. No.
All right. Well,
No.
hold on. Give me 1 second.
Hey, you created a layer.
I got the duplicate
That's
layer. I
good.
changed the Gaussian blur to get the
Okay.
lining out, and then
Alright,
I wanted to
alright.
bring the sky in the background. 'Cause the
So-
sky is really dead. That must have been a very
It was
diffused day.
It was a tough day to
Yeah.
shoot.
Diffused means the clouds were out there blocking the sun.
Yes.
Yes.
It gives you a softer light.
Yeah. So I was trying to add a dope ass sky in the background.
Do you want to explain before we move on to Carlos? Do you want to explain why you chose the photo that you did and what edits you did make?
I really didn't get the chance to make any edits. I did bring a Gaussian blur in the back to make it more lined out, to line her out. And then I wanted to bring the sky in because there legit was buildings that you'll see with nothing in the background.
Nope.
It was complete like sadness.
And question: did
Yeah.
you use Lightroom Classic or Photoshop?
Oh, I used whatever you had open. I think that was Photoshop. Was that Photoshop, right?
Yeah, it was Photoshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why I have it open. You never know if you want to use
Yeah,
generative
I didn't,
AI or
I didn't
sky
think there was enough
replacement.
time to load it up.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a pen.
There's
See,
a
I
pen
didn't even know
too.
there was a pen there.
That was my bad. Now, quickly, Carlos, before we jump into you, I wanted to touch on this, Ray, really quickly.
Sure. Go ahead, Carlos, cheat. Get out, start on.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. What reading recommendations? You chose reading between audiobooks or reading
Yeah,
instead of
I
audiobooks?
definitely am a big fiction.
Okay.
I love anything and everything when it comes to mysteries, murders, even military stories.
Oh, wow. Okay.
To medieval times, dragons, like
I love that.
yeah,
Nice.
everything. Yeah, when I read, I don't want to read someone's self-help book or their life or.
I feel like that's because of your military background, because I'm assuming you have that discipline embedded in your DNA already. Like,
Yeah, I want to have fun when I read.
right.
You know, I want to imagine dragons and
Absolutely.
craziness.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
You know, I don't want to sit there and see how you grew up. You know?
right. You chose iPhone over Android.
I did. I used to be a big BlackBerry fan.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And
and then-
Sidekick.
Yeah,
Sidekick.
and Sidekick. That's how old I am, right? I love the keyboard.
Yeah.
And then when it got to the point where I had no choice anymore and I needed to use tap, BlackBerry tried to do it.
Yeah.
I think it was called the Storm, and it was really bad. And I was like, well, time to go to iPhone. And it was already iPhone 4, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So you didn't jump on the bandwagon
No.
right out the gate. You waited a bit.
Yeah.
No, okay.
My
Respect.
brother
Okay.
was one of those guys that were waiting day one of the release of the iPhone. And I was like, nah.
Last one, you chose video over photo.
Yeah.
Why did you make that decision?
So I'll say this publicly now. I'm in the process right now of finishing 2 different scripts for 2 movies. And I'm trying to set up a team, get some actors together, and maybe even make this movie.
So like a documentary?
No, again, I don't like life. You know what I mean? I don't like the
like
nonfiction
so
stuff.
we're not talking feature film. We're talking short film?
See, that's where I'm confused.
Oh,
Because a feature film or a short film is under 30 minutes.
Right.
You know, for it to get to like the indie area.
Right.
And a featured film has to be like, I think, 80 and above.
Yeah.
And I kind of do want to make a film.
That's
You know,
amazing.
where it's about 90 to maybe even 100 minutes.
Let's take a second here for some applause. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I look forward to your coming projects and what you have envisioned. I'm excited for some sneak peeks. Obviously, you're not going to tell the people, right?
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to tell us why you made the decisions that you made. And as far as photo too, Carlos, this gives you an opportunity to choose between Lightroom or Photoshop.
Oh, you got to choose. See,
Hey, I did say that. I did say that.
You did. I know how to follow directions. I'm going with Lightroom.
Oh, you're going with Lightroom. Oh, that's surprising. Okay, cool. Did you choose the one out of the 3 that you want out of?
Yeah, that sounds fine. Yeah, I got one.
Do you want to tell the people which one you chose?
The second one, the guy's playing chess.
Oh, okay. Okay. That was a New York street photography photo. I'm going to start the timer, and on my count, you'll go ahead and start editing, and I'll start spraying. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to be quite honest, although the timer has started, I feel like this is going to be a lot easier for Carlos because he knows the questions. He knows what to expect. Reading or audiobooks?
Audiobooks.
Audiobooks. Music or podcasts?
Music.
Ooh, any particular music?
Ray will tell you I have.
Ray.
I just have it like on mix, so it'll just like it's just.
It's
I
everywhere.
go from like
Hip hop to Latino to
yes.
No, that would be
Ray.
dope. No, that'd be great. No.
No.
His. And I'm going to answer this for you, Carlos.
Thank you.
It goes from country to oldies to the 20s to new hip hop and I'm just like, bro, stay in a genre.
Hey, he has a diverse palette, you know.
Man, but it's so hard to listen to.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
I
go ahead.
definitely don't want to go into
Sorry for
the
jumping
next
in.
road trip with you. Movies or series?
No. We're gonna go with series.
Series. All right. Headphones or earbuds?
Earbuds.
Earbuds. Okay. 1 minute 45 seconds. Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I feel like a lot of people in our industry are iPhone. You know, I feel like very
Everything
little.
connects.
Yeah, honestly. Laptop or tablet?
Laptop.
PC or Mac?
100% Mac.
No. Urban or suburban?
I go urban.
Urban? Oh,
I'll
okay.
go urban.
That's me. Sony or Canon?
Sony.
Nikon or Fuji?
Nikon.
Flash or continuous?
Continuous. 1,000,000%.
What? And you chose flash. I want to touch on that. Gimbal or handheld?
Handheld.
Hey, I'm handheld too. I'll touch on that later. Capture One or Lightroom?
Lightroom.
Lightroom, okay. Premiere or DaVinci?
I'm just starting with DaVinci, and it is a little easier. It's a little more stable. So
okay.
I'm still 50-50 because
Okay.
I'm learning it, but I tend to go back to what I know. So
Okay. 10 seconds. TikTok or Instagram?
Man, that was fast.
I know.
TikTok.
Pens down.
TikTok. You know what? I'll give you a little bit of time. I'm going to finish this list. While I finish this list, you can finish your edit.
Thank you.
Twitter or Reddit?
I don't really do. I guess Reddit.
Reddit, okay.
Yeah.
Film or digital?
I haven't worked with film in years, so I'll go with digital. Although I do have a soft spot for
Film? I know, we talked about it a little bit. Studio or on location?
on location.
On location. Short form or long form content?
Short.
Short? Okay. Pre-production or post-production?
I like post.
You like post-production?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. I feel like very little people, or at least half of our industry, dreads post-production. Unless you're dedicated to that 100%. You're either a colorist, a photo retoucher. If you're a photographer, you're going to dread editing, I feel, or a videographer. And last but not least, photo or video?
Yeah, I'll go with photo.
Hey, okay, cool. Well, that's the end of the list. Editing needs to be completed. It's over. All right, what edits did you make to the photo and why?
Well, the first thing I did was I cropped out a piece of the white table that was in the foreground. I darkened up, so I created a mask on the top just to kind of darken the top and the bottom a little bit, so I can bring in the focus more into the actual
Subject.
I added the brand new, which I love, the blur.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was able to add a little bit of depth of field, and really bring in your focus into the chessboard. But I didn't want to lose the guy on the right-hand side that was looking into the board. So, I mean, if I would have been able to kind of dive in a little bit more with my mask, I would have been able to kind of bring the contrast and kind of flip-flop it.
Very nice. So almost like a vignette with the linear gradient and the bottom gradient.
Yep, I added a little vignette just to kind of. I was in a hurry, so all right, let me cheat.
Yeah.
Is this touchscreen?
Yeah, it is touchscreen.
See, I didn't even know that either.
That's why I got the pen. That's why I got the pen.
No shit.
Well, I gotta be clear with my guests next time around when I get
I know
the
how to follow
laptop.
directions, man.
I apologize.
But notice that I sent him first.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you would have gone first, I would have been like,
Oh, easy. Right.
Hey, you got a layer.
I got a layer.
You got a layer.
You got a layer in the sky.
Well, that was our segment of Spray and Pray. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's jump into the next segment where it's questions about the community. And I really want to get into that. Really quick, let me get that laptop from you.
Oh, yeah.
So first things first, our community is very small. I feel like everybody knows each other. Let's talk a little bit about our community as photographers and videographers, art directors, producers of runway shows. What is runway the community you guys associate with most, or which one would you guys say you do personally or professionally? It doesn't matter.
You want to go first?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like our I don't call it a niche, but what we're really thriving in is the fashion industry. And it's provided us with a lot of opportunities to meet some really wonderful people outside of the photographers and videographers, but just meeting, stylists and makeup artists and the models and, just the different avenues that you can actually go or take while you're in this industry. I think that for me, it's been eye-opening, man, honestly, because, being a photographer, you and being in the pits, you do start meeting a lot of different photographers and you start collaborating and then you start seeing, how some photographers are working with this model, some photographers are working with that model. So,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you kind of have an idea of how everybody kind of works. But for me, it's the side that I'm not really involved in very often, right? So the back end, of the fashion show process, to me is more interesting because I go back there, I'll take a couple shots, I see Ray working, and as we've been doing more shows together, I'll let him know when stuff is going south in front, right? Like, hey, you got models missing their spots, you got the lighting's off, the timing's off. This is they're doing X, Y, Z. So I'll relay messages to him like, hey, this needs to get fixed, and so you kind of start finding your groove. So.
Yeah. You have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I am in the runway industry of it, and the community is very small.
Yeah.
So we do all know one another very well.
Yeah.
And if not, someone does. Mm-hmm. So if there's any time you do want to set up a shoot or a show or anything like that, or we have to invite other photographers to the show.
Yeah.
You do, I mean, it's sometimes a little biased, but you do want to invite the ones that you like really get to know really well. Like, hey, I want you to set up here. But, it's always fun to bring in the newbies because it's cool to teach the newbies. You know what I mean? It's like, because we've all been there.
Right. Yeah.
But having that communication with Carlos, because he is front of the house, he'll tell me like, hey, the models aren't stopping. They're literally going to the tip to where they're supposed to, the end of the runway, and then turning around and leaving. Like, they need to either pause a little bit more, get the photographers their opportunity to take the right photo.
The photo, right.
And that's very important because I have to let then, tell the models like, hey, although you are the perfect model that was chosen by the designer, you're still walking for the designer. The clothes need to be seen.
Yeah.
Photographers need to shoot that. So it's not just about you to run and run back. Like, we need to get those shots.
Right. Yeah.
So it is important. The lighting's important. All of it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I'm in agreement. And how involved would you guys say you are with the creative community in general within the Chicagoland area? Like, do you guys do Instagram meetups? Do you guys do any networking or workshops for photographers? Do you guys find yourself trying to involve yourself in the community of creatives?
I want to say yes to that. We have two awesome stylists that are part of our team now, Emelitza and Natalie.
And Natalie, yeah, congratulations.
And thank you. Yeah, our team has gotten pretty dope. And shout out to them, Emelitza and Natalie. What's up, girls?
Shout out, guys.
Yeah, they're awesome. And with that, they've even reached out, have been reached out by other designers and photographers like, hey, I would like you to help style the shoot.
Yeah.
So our circle and what we're doing is reaching out all around to everyone, and it's fire. I love it.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. Have you involved yourself in the creative community? Have you gone to Instagram meetups like Shy Shooters or Art of Shy or stuff like that?
I actually haven't. and I have to be more out there to do those things, because I learn a lot when I actually go do them, right? So if I go shoot with another photographer and see what angles he's looking, so I had an opportunity when I was in New York to go shoot with Abraham.
Abraham. Yeah.
My
Shout
guy,
out to
my
Abe.
guy.
My
Shout
guy.
out
My
to
guy.
Abraham. I should probably invite him on the show.
Absolutely
Abraham,
should.
if you see this, come on the show.
You should.
Slip into his DMs.
Slide into these DMs.
There you go.
baby.
Slide into the DMs.
We were out in
Times Square.
no, try again.
The district. Financial district.
No, we were at Central Park.
Oh, Central Park. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it was absolutely beautiful. I'm not a big fan of New York, but Central Park to me is like you can unplug. You know what I mean? Like you could just get away from all the craziness that New York is. But we were out there. We were there with a couple of the models we were there with, and we started. You know, at first we were just kind of messing around, but then you start seeing him kind of get into his creative flow, and then I found myself like not trying to match him, but like, you know, trying to see what he was seeing, and little by little, like next thing you know, we have the models like posing. I had one of them on a branch, you know, so we can catch the city in the background. And it was just really cool to have that creative meshing. You know what I mean? Like he would see something and I would see something. We would kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and that for me is priceless, right? But you know, I tend to like going out when I do go shoot. I tend to go out by myself. Right.
Okay.
For me, it's if I go, say, aside from like studio shots or going to go shoot with a model, if I go and I want to go shoot the city, or if I just go walk around and shoot, for me, it's just a time for me to unwind. You know, I'm not thinking about anything else other than, you know, what I'm trying to capture, right? So it's a real personal way for me to just release any kind of stress.
Yeah, and I want to build on that because you and I had actually touched on that when you guys were showing me your space in the podcast room. You actually had the red flamingo prints, and we had touched on street photography, and it's nice to see other photographers be essentially jack of all trades. You know, sometimes I feel that sort of imposter syndrome due to trying to do different types of photography.
Right.
But I think it's important to have those kind of arsenals, like that, to have that sort of creative difference, you know, to take different approaches. Because likewise, it helps me to live in the moment and be present, to unplug and de-stress by doing street photography or film photography, you know, because when I'm in the studio or when I'm in an event, it's not me being artistic. Sometimes I can flip the hat on, but for me, it's like work mode. Time to get to work. I got to get to work. People need these photos. People have expectations for these photos, right? It's not a way of a self-expression, I guess. Capturing subjects, capturing light in that way. So it's very refreshing to hear that I have similarities to what you have as well.
It's a way to reconnect with your creative self. Because you're right. When I first got into the fashion industry, I was trying to be artistic. And it would take me hours to edit, you know, a couple photographs, you know, whereas now I'm taking 1,000 photographs, I'm picking the ones I want, and then you create, you know, your template or you create your profile, and you're like, all of these can get taken care of, and you know, they're good to go. Then there's the occasional photograph where I'm like, ooh, I want to work on this one, right? Where it's a little bit more, you know, gives you a little more creative freedom. But yeah, I mean, it gets a little redundant, right? I mean, if you do product photography or studio shots, there's not much wiggle room on. I mean, it's supposed to look a certain way,
right?
Whereas when you go do urban photography or you go do your own thing, it allows you to reconnect and gives you that creative freedom to, you know, play with light and shadows, and you know, you can break rules and you can, you know, that kind of thing. So for me, that's where the love of photography comes for me. Right? So.
And the reason why I bring up, you know, involving yourself in the community, because I've had some experiences going to Instagram meetups, which I thought was super cheesy, super corny. And even when I got there, I still felt out of place. I didn't feel really, not necessarily welcome, but just not with the right group of people, you know?
Right.
And towards the middle of that walk through or meetup, I then became comfortable with the idea that's okay. At least we're feeding off of each other. And I think that's important because you touched on that with Abraham. It's feeding off of other creatives, right? Getting together, being collaborative, and having fun too. Let's not forget to have fun, because although we're in the day and age where it's like quick turnaround times, 24 hours, work, contracts, invoices, sometimes we just got to take a step back and enjoy each other's presence, enjoy each other's creativity and that collaborative effort, right? And that's why I highly encourage you guys, if you ever get a chance to go to an Instagram meetup or anything like that, I feel like it's important to involve ourselves in the community, not just Runway per se, but there was one, for instance, that, are you guys familiar with Manny Ortiz?
Manny
Ortiz, the photographer?
Yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah. He's
got a huge following.
Yeah. Likewise with Mike, his Instagram handle is Ill Concept. He's now a New York photographer that does behind the scenes for movies. But back then in 2017, they partnered with Art of Shy and had a Great Gatsby shoot. Super crammed, probably the size of front of house here, with like 4 different backdrops and a bunch of photographers and videographers. Manny showed up, Mike showed up, and it was such a great time because you're just drinking, chatting it up about, you know, the newest gear that came out, seeing an opportunity with the model, be like, hey, you know what, let me get a picture, you know? And I didn't feel this longing for a community of creatives or photographers until we, as a studio, participated in ClickOn. Are you guys familiar with ClickOn?
Yeah.
Have you guys attended?
I have not.
No.
Definitely somewhat of our clientele, but definitely not for me personally or professionally. But I feel like Sherry did a fantastic job. Sherry is the head director of and is in charge.
She was in New York with us.
No, she was not. Shout out to Sherry. If you want to be on the podcast, hit us up. Slide into my DMs. No way, really?
Isn't that her name, Sherry?
Sherry.
I swore she was in New York with us.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. I didn't know. No, I didn't know. Well, that's pretty awesome. So you guys rolled with her for a bit.
No, she was, if I hope I have the right person, because I know she's with ClickOn, and she was the host of that show. I thought that was her.
No.
Then who was that?
Not Sherry.
Not Sherry.
I
think you have it confused.
And I'm wrong.
Okay.
I apologize.
Now, well, Sherry, if that was you at the show, that was one hell of a nightmare of a show. But
Still slide into
right.
DMs.
But going back to the topic at hand, yeah, I definitely. The premise of this show is to sort of regain or rebuild the sense of community and creatives. Yeah. And that's why I want to invite people like yourselves, because you guys are such great creatives. You guys are amazing at what you do, and you guys obviously have ideas. Speaking on ideas, what suggestions or ideas do you have to build a stronger sense of community amongst creatives in the Chicagoland area?
I always want to help. Mm-hmm. So like I never turn down anytime like IG, you know, I get an email or something or a message saying that they want to be part of the show or the shoot, and I'm always like, yeah, contact Carlos. Like, I think bringing in newbies in, because one of the things too is, and we all hate these guys that never want to share anything. You can't ask them a question because they're like too good for you. You know, and I definitely don't want not only just like me or DoneByDesign, but I don't want the people that we hang out to be that type of person. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
But with that, with all the new updates that are happening, and even in Adobe and the new cameras coming out, like the younger crew, they fuck with that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So they're the ones that are doing like that new style of wedding photography where they shake the camera. Have you seen that?
I love that. Yeah, the drag. Dope. I think it's rear curtain flash.
Yeah, rear curtain flash where they're dragging it, and they have that, and it's really big right now. That's one of the things that I'm talking about. Like, I never would have thought of. To me, growing up, or not even growing up, but just getting into it's like, oh shit, that's blurry.
That's a bad photo.
That's a bad shot, dude. Right, that's a bad shot.
I'm not a fan of it.
No, it's cool. It's
I actually
dope.
did it at Quinceañera. So just before we get off topic, I just had the Quinceañera and the main chambelán in the middle. Everyone else created a circle and started dancing around them. I hit a strobe. Everything was blurry but them. They were.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah,
it's dope.
It's tough. I don't know how they do it at a wedding. I don't think I'd be confident to do it at a wedding, but it's true. I feel like, especially the younger guys are more open to
anything.
Experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why we're already kind of like, all right, it has to look like this. This is what I'm going for. You know, why they're like, no. You know, they're just shooting shit around, and that's new. You know what I mean? And so like I'm always an open for trying something new, trying to learn something, a new trick, or learning anything. So yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a community that we need to build.
Oh yeah,
and continue that
with open arms,
absolutely.
Inviting.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any ideas or suggestion on building a stronger community of creatives in the Chicagoland area?
Well, one of the things that I think one of the reasons we got to where we were last year, we had a great space, and just the amount of people that would show up, right, just to come by and hang out, and whether they were working or we were. I mean, but there was always someone coming to visit or hanging out and sharing ideas, and I think that's just such a important part of being a creative, right? Being around other creatives, because I could tell you, like the last month, we really didn't do much. And man, that whole creativity was like a shutdown, man. It was like, it's like, man, I need to go hang out with some creatives because I'm just sitting here not doing anything, right? It's like you kind of need that to reflourish, right? So one of the things that I really want to do this year is what we have planned is to pick out a new studio.
New location.
A new location.
New location.
Yeah. So and one of the biggest purposes of that is we want a big space to create that environment that we had, when we had our studio last year. So
no, and likewise, I definitely while being in Joliet, coming to the realization that this isn't necessarily the market, I've wholeheartedly believed what Misal said. If none of the doors open for us, we got to create our own door.
Yes, 100%.
And I loved it. Misa, I was just like, yes, let's do it, And it has been tough. It's shown to be a challenge to have a studio like this. There isn't much creatives, but I definitely think that this can be a stepping stone. And I've come to realize, like you said, having a space like this invites creativity, invites artists, And likewise, hopefully, sneak peek where... we shouldn't mention it, but hopefully a second XR in the city, right?
Yes,
we're DoneByDesign.
Yes,
let's go.
Yes. No, but I'm really happy that you guys came on the show. Thank you. The show is now for yours to take. Do you guys have anything for the audience? Do you guys have any news, updates that you want to give the audience?
No, but I did want to just throw back on what Carlos said. One of the most important things about DoneByDesign Studio was that it was not only just an open space, it was a safe space for everyone. You know what I mean? We had models and photographers and everyone just come in just to talk and chill and relax and build that community is what we're trying to do again. And we're excited to hopefully everybody... keep your ears open.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Do you guys have any future projects, any shows that you want to tell the people of, any runway shows, I know you mentioned the 2 movies, but Carlos, do you have any projects or shows that you want to mention to the public or promote?
Yeah, we have, what do we got? We got
Wine Appetit's coming up.
Wednesday.
Another World Fashion Festival, of course. We have the Shadow Ball.
Shadow Ball's January 20th.
20th.
Those are the first 2, which I can't wait just to kind of get the process going again.
Juices
get
flowing.
The juices going again. It's like the little vacation, I guess, because we weren't really doing shows. But
November, December is kind of a dead time for us. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For the season, for fashion shows, for everything.
Right.
So,
no, I feel like after September... being New York Fashion Week, I feel like October is still pretty lively in Chicago with runway shows. But I likewise, after World Fashion Festival with you guys, I didn't do a single runway show. I was invited to one, but then I was just like, no, I can't. I have too much work. But, well, hopefully we can leave that information for the upcoming shows. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show. And we will catch you in the next one.